Good evening. I'm in the lab again today, but today I'm going to do it from the office because what I'm really looking to do is to talk about how we help the athlete to be. That's the very young athlete, and my son's 18, so really don't have a bevy of kids out there that I can not like a baseball bunch or whatever else they used to have. Um, so I just kind of give this in my lecture style, I guess. Um, Something I really like. This is more or less a wish list of what I'd like to see in what we do to kind of get our kids ready for the training we want to give them that's specific to sport, like a sport specific type of finishing. Give them a nice broad basis to make them athletic. And I've spoken about that before. We shouldn't be doing curveballs at 8 years old and 10 years old, 12 years old. We should give them a really athletic basic education. And the earlier we start that, I think the best. And I'm in my time with Special Olympics, we are trying to put those programs together. Um, I'd love to coach something like that. It's just we just don't have the stormtroopers out there, and now that we're in the COVID world, it's going to be a while before we're even able to retry that. So, but this is something I think that the kids would really benefit from, and it would help them phenomenally. And even if they never go into major college sports or higher, um, sports is life and life is sports. I think there's a lot of you're teaching perseverance, you're teaching confidence. You teach kids these skills, they're going to have lifelong better health. They're going to have better mental health. They're going to be more confident, like I said. And these are all positive attributes. So what I like to start off with is, and I believe is the predication of all of it is core strength and balance. So teaching them that knee bend, that slight sitting, lower that center of gravity is it's a power position, um, and more than anything else, um, that's the basis of what I'm going to come up with after this. So basically, teaching them how to be balanced, teaching them some core strength. Now, what can you do to increase core strength? You can certainly do things such as planks, squat thrusts, sit ups, things of that nature. And there is a 1-to-1 ratio, proven causal link, not a correlation, but a causal link between core strength and cognitive ability. So while they're still developing, whether they're cognitively delayed or they're cognitively on track, this will help them stay sharper and sharper and get sharper and sharper, and that'll give them some mental processing speed and improvement. And if you go from good, if you go from a good base, that takes you to somewhere great, and so that you're very quick out on your feet, and that, like I said, spreads to their whole life. Um, Lasts for life, but it also spreads into other parts of their life. It's a dual meaning there. Um, so yeah, you take that core strength and your balance. And I think number two, you need to hit lateral movement. They need to learn what it means to sit down in that balanced pose and be able to very quickly go side to side, maybe even turn slightly at certain angles or whatever, but side to side in the beginning because it's basic. You want it to be basic and you want it to be fun. A little bit of silliness with it goes, um, but only just a little. They want to do some work here. Um, Rotational trunk strength is a big one, and it has a lot to do with how you throw a baseball when you're a pitcher. It has to do with how you hit a baseball. You clear your hips. You rotate off of a player. You do a lot of different things that will where that strength is going to really help you. And so that's a foundational piece as well for children. Fourth one I would say is the ability to be very quick and to be able to change direction. And then there's some creativity that helps create. And it also you need to be somewhat creative to be able to not have those blinders on physically and cognitively, so that you can create different angles, different views. One of the things that makes James Harden so great besides the fact that they don't call traveling in the NBA, is that he's very good with angle. And a lot of your scorers are. Russ, the rest of them that are really good scorers, they're excellent at angles. And you can learn that from a very early age, and you learn that creative ability to be very quick and to change direction quickly and to use angles, to see things almost in a picturesque kind of way. That's trainable. So they can learn that. They can learn that vision, and they get that higher, faster processing speed in their brain and that creative ability physically to create angles. And they can take that to any sport, and it really will serve them very, very well. Last aspect of this is explosiveness. And explosiveness, you can see it in the forward, the backward, the lateral, side to side stuff. But it really is predicated on getting up on the toes versus being flat footed and teaching them the concept of being up on their toes. So when you get them up on their toes, they can go forward, they can go backwards, they can go side to side. But what they can also do is they can jump, and to get hops from an early age is gonna benefit them to a great degree. And it goes to just about any sport. And again, it goes with something that I like to call coiled power. And it's because I guess I can't call it something cool like somebody else would. But I evoke the picture of a serpent or of a snake, a cobra, and it is that you're slightly crouched. You're down in your stance. Remember that part, and you get that lower center of gravity, and you're ready to go. You're coiled, and whenever you're ready to strike, you strike quickly and you strike with strength. And some of the martial arts teach this, which is great. Many of the Eastern um, the Eastern arts do. But I think this would be good for the United States, for kids in the United States to pick up on, um, because they once they figure out that that's the center of their power in a physical sense, and they realize to keep their hands out in front of them, keep themselves in that triple threat position. It's not just for basketball, but it's in a lot of sports where they're ready for multiple possibilities about what their next move is going to be, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, whatever it is, and they're coiled and they're ready to go, and then you've worked on their processing speed, you've really set them up that if they can get some excellent coaching that takes them to the next level and the next level and the next level, instead of having to play on 20, 12 months a year at a certain sport, you've allowed them to become an athlete. And I've talked about that in the past where guys like Deion Sanders, Brian Jordan, were just good athletes and they could play multiple sports. That's what our kids really ought to be trying to do instead of trying to be the best baseball player from the age of 8. I think just make them good athletes and then let them play what they want to play and know that they're going to have options. Dave Winfield was another one back in the day. He just had options. I mean, there were guys who drafted by 3 or 4 different sports because they were just great athletes. So the more specialized we've gotten, the more we have these camps or these academies. We've out fancied ourselves a little bit. So I think if we just slow it down, go back to basics, and teach the kids at anywhere from 5 to 8 years old, maybe 9 years old, the basics as I just kind of talked about them, and I think they would benefit from that. We would all benefit from that as fans and as coaches and as supporters of athletics in general, as parents, etc., or grandparents even. But I think that's what we'd really like to see is the betterment of sport, and that's I think the way to do it. And I think you'd have fewer injuries, and the kids would just have a whole lot more fun. So hope that helps. Tell you what, these lists that I make and videos like I make on this kind of a subject, the idea is to get conversation started. So any of you guys find me on this video, or you find me a month or two from now because you just found my channel, I'd love it if you come back in here. I'll keep monitoring. Start some conversation with me. What do you think? There's some things we could add, some things we could subtract, and what you talk about, Willis, whatever. I want to start a dialogue. So please like, subscribe, Comment, keep it nice, keep it real, but keep it nice. Share, tell others. Just trying to build this the best I can. Fairly new on YouTube, but just trying to grow the channel, and I'm trying to create conversation. This is not always going to be instructional stuff, like you've seen. Sometimes I'm just talking about sports. That's what musing's really meant. So, but this one's an important one to me because I watch an awful lot of very young kids who their balance, they don't have the basics. Their balance, they're very stiff legged. They're straight up. There's no crouching. There's no nothing. They're not in readiness position, and you can tell this is sorely needed, and it would really benefit them in so many ways, as I've said. So thanks for stopping by. Like I said, like, share, comment, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. All right, peace, me homies. Take care.